So let's just pause a second, wait for this to sort itself out. Alright, okay, so game 1 between the Viper and Chris of round 4 of the GML, and that means we've just passed the halfway mark. There are only 7 rounds, so we're pretty much over halfway, and the Viper still hasn't lost any games yet, so he is in top shape. I think he's won all 3 of his sets so far, which means he's in the lead with 9 points at the moment, which is incredible, really, considering the players who are taking part in this league. Of course, now though, he's up against Chris, and Chris may be able to take a game from him, but we'll have to wait and see for that one. But this is the Viper's home map, the home map being Ghost Lake. I almost said Baltic for a second, but Ghost Lake, and his opponent Chris, of course. He's playing in red over to the left as Mayans, and Chris in green over to the right as Mayans also. So we do have a Mayan war on Ghost Lake, and we know for a fact that one of Viper's strongest civilizations is actually Mayans, so it's looking pretty promising for him, considering this is his home map. He's playing a civilization that he's very comfortable with, and considering his records so far in this tournament, perhaps not an easy game, but definitely a game that he is going into this thinking he can win. So we'll actually see how it ends up going. It could be an interesting result either way, but Viper is going to drop this game. I know for a fact that this game drops, unfortunately, so we won't be able to watch it to the end, but we'll be able to watch it up to the point where it drops, and then I'll tell you the result, because I do know the result, as these games were posted on Monday, so we're only a few days late, but it's absolutely fine. Just quickly going to tab out. Just let me know if the stream's okay in the chat, just if you do that, and I'll tab out in a second so I don't have to spend ages waiting for a reply, and then we'll take a look at the map a little bit more. Is it all okay? It's fine. Okay, excellent. Can I go back into the game? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's have a look at their maps. Ghost Lake, pretty interesting map actually. I like Ghost Lake a lot because it's really hard to actually wall. Obviously you have this big area in the middle which nothing can be built on, and that means that walls are very hard to sort of complete. Although saying that, Viper has got a potential wall across here, and he can do this side fairly easily, so he might not be in such a bad position. His map's certainly not as open as Dogau's was in the Masters of Random Map final, which we saw the other day, casted by Fiage, where he just could not wall at all. Also, interestingly enough, Chris has got quite an interesting map. He's got this massive cliff shielding one side of his base, so he could actually wall this very easily. He could wall this area here, he could wall this area here, and he's pretty much got a full wall then. So Chris's map looking pretty decent, considering the fact he's got gold, back gold, a double back gold, and he's got a nice little area here that he can build quite openly, quite freely, and as you can see he's already starting to put a house here, so it looks like he might complete a wall here once he's obviously lured this boar and maybe gone for his deer a little later on. So Chris, definitely a nice map. Viper's map not too bad, but it's looking a little harder to wall than Chris's might be. He might be starting to wall this if he can, or maybe even just bringing a wall across here so Chris can't get round without going close to the TC or something. We'll see how he goes with that. But Ghost Lake, quite a cool map. There's lots of sheep in the middle which have already been found actually, and it looks to me like Chris might have found more. Let's have a look. He's got, bear with me, he's got 4 sheep over here, but he's also got one sort of standing in the middle. If we have a look at his scouting as well, he's not really been using the sheep to scout. If we have a look over at the Viper, he is finding more sheep over on the middle, and that's quite good for him. He's going to be able to get a little bit of extra food from those guys. More sheep coming in as well. It looks like he's actually found quite a lot of sheep in the centre area there. He's got 4 already at his TC, and he's got another few coming in. You can see a sheep there by Chris. It looks like Chris's scouts in the way. Going to nab those off of him and take them back. So looking pretty good at the moment for both of them. Nothing out of the ordinary. Viper with back gold as well, and it's kind of hard to have forward gold in Ghost Lake because obviously you can't really have gold in the centre area, so gold is usually back anyway. And I'm going to speed things up a little bit so you can manage to get the most sheep. I think the Viper's going to have a good shout at getting quite a few here. And Chris trying to steal Viper's boar there. And it looks like he might just be able to get back, though Viper has seen it, so he's going to get his Eagle Warrior involved, try and prevent that from happening. And that's quite a nice little start for Chris if he manages to lure this one back. Of course, it's nothing like the double boar steal we saw from the Viper, but a boar steal nevertheless. And Viper trying to force the boar away, Chris trying to micro his Eagle Warrior there to keep it coming back, and a barracks coming down as well, so we're probably going to see a Drush from him if he manages to get this boar over. Looks like Viper's just going to let it slip, and Chris might just be able to get this. It doesn't look like Viper's going to be able to stop it now. It's getting too close to the TC, and even if Chris has to kill the boar over here with his villagers, which isn't going to happen anyway, it would be fine. And it looks like Chris, there we go, a successful boar steal on the Viper. The Viper though, he can't go and steal Chris's boar because there is no boar to be stolen. He's already taken both, and a very nice start for Chris indeed going into this. And his barracks now going down. He's getting ready to start his Drush. The Viper also going to start drushing as well. He's already taken 10 gold. As you can see, he's taking a little bit more gold here. He's already taken an extra 17. I don't think he meant to take that many, that much even. But yeah, he's doing a pretty good job adding extra gold in with this gold miner, and he might end up going for 4 militia. He's going to need an extra 10, so he's going to go for 3 militia, and obviously he's got his Eagle Warrior as well. But Chris, on the other hand, he's got that extra boar. He's going to be able to now make the 3 militia Drush and probably Feudal a little bit faster perhaps. It's looking likely that he'll be able to do that, and then we'll see where they go from there. But the Drush going to be coming in, and I'm just wondering whether Viper's going to play it a bit defensively now, instead of going out to Chris trying to take out some villagers, whether he'll just sort of camp on his base and get up to the feudal age and then start with some archers, or perhaps a fast castle. But obviously the map being very open, we'll probably see a flush with archers and then upgrade to crossbowmen, something along those lines. But yeah, both of them getting their Drush out right now. Chris going to move out with his militia. It looks like Viper might be able to get this Eagle Warrior if Chris isn't careful with it. It looks like he's going to sneak by for now, and Chris will want to reunite his Eagle Warrior back with his militias over here, and then he can move out and try and attack. It looks like Viper's Eagle Warrior, oh no, it's over this side. Viper with the advantage. He does have extra HP on his Eagle Warrior here, and if he does engage head on, then he will be able to defeat Chris's Drush. But it looks to me like Chris might just catch Viper off guard here. Viper's going to have to quickly get away. He's looking to take the Eagle Warrior out, getting it on surround. And there we go, the Eagle Warrior very low on HP now. And now Chris suddenly has a 10 HP advantage over the Viper. So Viper going to have to cling to his hill. And the only way he's going to be able to defeat Chris's Drush here is if he stands on the hill and attacks downhill, which is not going to be happening. I don't think Chris is not going to let him fight him downhill and take that advantage away from him. But Chris now with this Drush, almost I'd say gaining map control in a sense, because of course he's got Viper stuck inside of his base, and he's going to be going up to the feudal age already. As you can see, that extra boar paying off. He's up to the feudal age right now, and he's going up right now, and Viper going to click up in just a second. He's going to cancel that villager and then go up to feudal. So Viper going to be a little bit further behind here, going up to the feudal age, and he's going to try and engage. He's going to try and coax Chris back to his TC. If he can get any villagers inside here, a couple of pot shots with arrows can turn it around completely. But Chris now going to gain some scouting information. He's going to know exactly what's up, and Viper leaving a villager there. That villager could be toast, and it is. Wow, Viper a little bit sloppy, forgetting his villager was idle, or not realizing his villager was idle, trying to pick that off, and the villager now probably going to join the fight if he decides to do that. But fighting downhill, nice pick on the Eagle Warrior, and that is great micro from Chris there. Viper now losing his Eagle Warrior, and now he's playing in the dark. Not only is Chris going to be up to the feudal age first, but Viper is playing in the dark. He's got no scouting information of Chris whatsoever. He knows his barracks is here, but he's got no idea what's going on behind that wall. And Chris is going to know exactly what's up. He's going to be able to spot the archery range when it goes up, and he's going to be able to spot anything that happens. So Chris in a nice position here inside of the Viper's base. One thing I have noticed though, he's not found the Viper's gold yet, and he's going to want to do that. He's really going to have to find where his gold is, because a couple of archers over here can do a lot of damage. And same for the Viper, he doesn't know where Chris's gold is, which is, it's not such a big deal, but if you're going to be sending out some archers across the map, you're going to want to know where to attack. And oh, Chris getting a little bit close to the TC there, losing a militia, and it looks like Viper's going to be able to push him back a little bit, but of course Chris still has his eagle, and as long as he keeps that alive, he'll be able to scout around, and he probably is going to find Viper's gold sooner or later. Chris then up to Feudal now, adding an archery range in. We'll probably see 2 archery ranges and a blacksmith, or an archery range blacksmith, depending on how he wants to play it. But Chris looks like he's going to be able to do a fast castle here actually, so he's going to go blacksmith straight away. Oh, maybe not, he's going to add an archery range. I thought he'd go blacksmith straight away and go for the fast castle real quick, because obviously now he's not got enough resource. Oh no, never mind, I'm just blind. Obviously the blacksmith was already up, so he's going to be able to castle in a nice time, start adding in some archers, and then he'll be able to upgrade to crossbow as soon as he reaches the castle age. Viper not so far behind, he's just going to be adding a blacksmith in just a second. There it is on the left, and archery range already up, just needs a little bit more gold, and he's going to be up to castle too, and it's going to be a pretty fast time for both of them, though still Viper slightly further behind here, as Chris already a quarter of the way up to the castle age right now, so really nice for him, and he's got a slight advantage going up here. Of course, if he can hold that advantage, get some extra archers out before, then he's going to be able to pressure the Viper very easily and very early on, and especially if he comes down here and takes some of these gold collectors, that would be really great for him. Pardon me. Let's have a quick look at the relic placement as well. Actually, it looks fairly even from what I can see. Viper's got one next to his base, not Viper, Chris has got one next to his base and on the other side as well. Viper's got one next to his base and on the other side as well, so it's looking pretty even for relics, I've got to say. There's actually there's one in the centre that I didn't spot there, so Chris could collect up 3 relics here and give himself a little advantage over the Viper, and I know for a fact that the Viper does collect his relics up very quickly, and that really does actually help, because starving your opponent of gold is something that you can do quite easily if you take map control, but if we have a look down here, all of this gold in Chris's area is in one little location, so this is a really important spot for Chris, and he needs to make sure he keeps this gold protected, because as we all know, gold is king. He also has 2 at the back. I mean, this one is absolutely horrible, that's a really badly placed gold, but he's also got this one here, so Chris a big advantage here with the gold, so Viper likely to collect up relics very quickly. He knows he's not got so much gold on his side, he's got 3 mining camps, 3 gold mines, but the extra gold is on Chris's side, so if this goes to the long game, Chris could have the advantage with the map here, especially with the gold. And there we go, Chris up to castle, crossbowman already on the way, bodkin arrow in a minute I imagine, and we'll see some harassment coming in from Chris. And now if he had scouted a little bit better, he would know that Viper's gold is just here. Maybe he's going to assume it's around here, but he would be able to go in this side, quickly get through here and go for the gold, but it seems he's going to go for... Oh no, I thought he was going to go around the right hand side, but no, he's going left, and this could be really good here. If he can kill this villager really quickly before it finishes walling, I don't think he's going to be able to. He's going back the other way, and that's unfortunate, because now this villager is going to wall this closed, and Chris will not be able to get through here without taking a lot of arrow fire, and that is not going to be good for him. So no harassment on this gold for Chris today, unless he busts through the palisade a little bit later on. But now he's in the aggressive position, and Viper could very quickly and easily defend from this. He's got crossbowmen being produced, and he's going to be able to outnumber Chris very shortly unless Chris brings some more crossbows over. But for the time being, we're probably going to see these guys working on their ecos a little bit, trying to get a castle out pretty soon. Chris has already added in even a new town centre, which is at the back here on the wood, and he'll probably add a new town centre really shortly as well when he gets a bit more wood, probably to a stone mine. He might put it here, or he could even put it on the right hand side to help protect this gold a little bit more. We'll see about that one. Viper, new town centre going up on the stone, and he's going to be looking to get a castle out reasonably relatively soon. For the time being though, he can stay with Crossbowman, and as you can see, there we go, the palisade wall bust by Chris, killing off a villager from the Viper. A little bit sloppy there actually. I thought maybe he would have brought the villagers back a little bit sooner, but Viper going to be able to try and micro this and take out as many crossbowmen as he can. Of course, if we can force Chris away, he's going to be absolutely fine. Both of them with bodkin arrows, so it's going to be a pure micro war, no real advantage or disadvantage. And Chris, a little pot shot of the villager, not able to take it out, and now Viper's going to be able to probably push Chris back. He's got the numbers advantage, and Chris is going to have to retreat down to 3 crossbowmen, and he's still trying to do what damage he can, looking to take out any crossbowman he can, but all of Viper's crossbowmen full HP, and Chris going to have to retreat. Very nicely done there, forcing him away. Lost a villager, a little bit sloppy, but not the end of the world, and a new town centre going up on this gold, so this area going to be safe, going to be locked down, and that is good because of course he can then work on protecting this area where the gold is at the back as well. So nice stuff from Viper so far, starting to get gold, stone even for this castle, and we'll see that very soon. He might add another town centre on, perhaps, but at the moment I imagine he's just going to be saving up for that castle and getting ready to work on that, pushing out a little bit with the crossbowmen as well. Viper has got less crossbowmen than Chris at this stage. I think he's only on 10. Chris on the other hand is on 15, so if they do have a little bit of a fight in the centre here, it will go towards Chris's favour. Chris now with his second town centre up on this stone. As I said, he's trying to get stone a little bit later on now, just so he can get that castle up, and I think he's going to be a little bit delayed with his castle, so we'll see what Viper's castle placement is like, whether he puts it defensively to protect important areas of his map, or whether he plays it aggressively. And it's something I don't usually see that often in Iron Wars, players placing castles really aggressively. We'll see what actually goes down and how that happens. Just quick question, is the stream okay? If it's not okay, then let me know. If it is okay, then let me know, and I'll tab out in just a second to check the chat. Big micro war going on in the centre here. Viper managing to pick off a couple of Chris's crossbows, but Chris, I think, still with the number advantage just, though Viper reinforcing very quickly. That's going to turn around. Ooh, nicely done, Chris. Taking out a crossbowman there, microing like hell. They're microing their asses off, still picking off more crossbows, and great micro from Chris, I've got to say. Just look at that, 3-4 crossbows down for Viper, another one lost. Again, great micro from Chris, actually really doing a good job, turned that round completely, and now he can push Viper right back. Fortunately for Chris, Viper's got his town centres up, but Chris gaining a nice little advantage there with taking out those crossbows. Is the stream okay? Yeah, totally fine, brilliant, thank you. So yeah, really good stuff from Chris, really strong performance so far, keeping Viper in his base, and of course now Viper doesn't know what Chris is doing back at home. He can have a good idea, and it's pretty similar to what he's doing of course, but at the moment, really good play from Chris, keeping him in his base, and good stuff all round. Let's see what he can do. He's probably looking to find some more villagers if he can. Try and pick off some villagers. I don't think he's going to have much luck. This town centre protecting the gold over here. His main town centre protecting this little gap. And this town centre on the right, which is obviously protected by a double palisade, which is something we don't usually see from the Viper. But almost now ready to get out that castle, I think. He may have just added another TC on, actually. He's got not so much gold stone. He may have sold a little bit. Not 100% sure what's going on there. But Chris, again, sticking outside of the Viper's base, keeping him inside, and trying to just sort of kill off as many crossbowmen as he can, continuing to reinforce. And let's see how much stone Chris has right now. 134, Viper on 410, sorry. It's sometimes weird, it says I'm looking at the Viper and it's got Chris's resources at the top. I have no idea why. I was wondering why Viper had so little stone. He's actually got 450 already, another 200 he can get his castle up, but again, really nice micro from Chris here, killing off a lot of crossbowmen and saving himself quite a few as well. I'd say though that Viper possibly came off a little bit better there, as he managed to kill off a few more, and upgrades wise they are still neck and neck, so Viper actually out-microed Chris there, very nicely done indeed. Chris going to have to retreat back onto the ice patch, and a few dead bodies littered around. That's all we've got left. But of course, again, Chris now with the numbers advantage again, and it's looking pretty strong, I've got to say. But this castle is going to turn things around pretty shortly. Plenty of farms being sown. We could see Imperial Age around 28-ish minutes, depending on how much they invest in crossbowmen. But Siege Workshop going down for the Viper. Mangonel likely to come out to deal with these crossbows, and we'll see a castle very shortly from him as well. No Siege Workshop from Chris just yet. But Chris isn't too concerned about that, I don't think. Lots of farms, I would say more than Viper at the moment, and Chris might be going up to the Imperial Age in a very fast time in comparison. Again, pushing forwards, losing a lot of crossbows, and it looks like this is a pretty interesting fight. Viper going to lose all of his crossbowmen here, and that's not so good for him at all, and he is going to have to retreat back. And as you can see, Chris with a decent score lead now, probably due to his military, and there's a little hole in the wall there. I don't think Viper even realised that hole. To me, that doesn't look like a hole. Does that look like a hole to you? Well, that is a hole, unfortunately. That's one problem with hills in this game. You cannot even see if it's a hole or not, and that was unfortunate. But Viper could get a Mangonel out here. Let's have a quick look. Mangonel on the way, and I don't know if it's really worth him getting this Mangonel at the moment. He's obviously going to have to deal with these crossbows, but there's not a huge number of them. He could probably make enough crossbows to defend, but he's making a Mangonel which is very costly, and as long as he can kill the crossbows, it's going to be worth it. But if Chris manages to kill that Mangonel, that's going to be a huge loss for the Viper, and we'll see how that one goes. But Chris now being a little bit of a nuisance, trying to pick off some villagers inside of Viper's base, and as usual, as the whole game has been so far, Chris doing a really good job of actually keeping Viper on his toes, picking off villagers still, which is really nice actually, and generally just doing a good job. But in comes the Mangonel now, and these crossbows are about to get flattened. Chris hasn't realised, and one more hit on there and they will probably all die. He's gonna have to retreat, but still picking off villagers. You could even snipe this villager. Oh, so close. That would have been a nice little snipe, but he's gonna get forced back into a corner. Viper probably gonna be able to take these guys out, but I've got a feeling Chris is going to be ready to go Imperial reasonably soon. He's not got a castle just yet, but he's got a lot of farms out, and if he slows down villager production shortly, he will be able to go Imperial really fast as well. Outpost on the left, just to see what's out there. Is Viper forwarding what's going on, and he is going to discover this gold as well, which is going to be a nice little find for him, a little boost to his confidence perhaps when he sees that. If he sees that, he should do. Oh, my bad. Oh, just out of line of sight. He's missed that gold there, and that's a little bit unfortunate. But there we go, castle forwards for the Viper. He knows that this is quite an important area, as obviously Chris has been getting through here quite a bit, and it's the main entrance to his base, I'd say. Unless he goes around the side, Chris's only real option is to attack from the front here. This right side really well locked down. He's going to have a lot of notice before Chris attacks over here, and there's no gold on this side, so Viper going to want to do this to protect his gold on this side as well. And now pushing out himself, it looks like Chris has lost his army of crossbows, and oh, never mind, they're over here. But Viper going to see what he can find, and going to see that Chris is fully walled, and it's just the most scouting information he's going to get all game. He's really not scouted that well thanks to losing his Eagle Warrior, and yeah, so a little bit bad for the Viper at the moment, not looking so great. Looks like Chris might have the economic advantage at this stage, 82 pop to Viper's 87, so actually I take that back. Viper may just have the stronger economy right now. Plumed archers coming out as well, and more stone being collected. Where was his other stone mine over here? We'll probably see a few castles from them. He's almost got enough for another castle as well, and if he decides to place that forwards, that could be really interesting. But my suspicion is that he'll place it defensively, as we usually see, possibly on the left side again, just to keep things protected, maybe even sort of on this side here to protect this stone. That's going to be a really important stone pile to protect, and so this area of the map for the Viper, really crucial to protect it. Same for Chris, this area of the map. Where's Chris's castle? That's the question. It's at the back here. Curious location. I'm not sure why he's put it there. Perhaps he thinks, I don't know, actually. I just no idea why he would put a castle there. You'd think maybe a castle here would be better. It would prevent Viper from placing a castle forwards. It would prevent Viper from breaking through this palisade and killing these gold collectors. I mean, Viper could come in now with his crossbows and pick off some villagers here, so a castle on this side would probably help Chris a lot more than it would being back here. But I don't know, he is the pro, I'm going to go with what he's doing. and just assume that, yeah, that was the right thing to do. So yeah, nice. Viper can afford another castle. Is he placing it down? Well, not yet, but I've got a feeling Chris is going to be Imperial very soon, and he is. He's got the resources he needs up to Imperial. 30 minutes and 30 seconds. Viper going to be slightly further behind. He's got the gold he needs. He needs a bit more food, and he will be up to the Imperial age. But of course, Chris going to reach Imperial in a nice time, and that is going to put the Viper back a little bit. If Chris comes in really strong, if he comes in with plenty of plumes, if he brings in some trebs, he could take out this castle and puncture through this area very quickly, and that would be disastrous for the Viper, quite simply. We'll see how that one goes. Looks like Chris going to be getting another castle very shortly. He's got enough stone for it, and there we go. As I said, Viper going to be able to harass this gold and even stop this gold if he actually pressures this area. So a castle here would be really good for the Viper. I don't think he's going to do it, but I think that would be really good. It would pressure this gold, it would pressure this wood, and it would prevent this gold from being collected, and this relic as well. So what an area to put a castle if he was to do it, but I can't see it happening, unfortunately. He's going to probably place it quite defensively, and we'll see where he actually goes with it. He's still only got one for the time being, but he's got enough stone for another 2 castles. There we go, he's just placed it down on the hill to protect this stone. As I said a little bit earlier, he's going to want to protect this area as stone, gold, gold, and gold. So nice little positioning there. University going up. We'll see upgrades coming in right now as well, pretty shortly. He's not got the armor upgrade, which is something you usually see whilst advancing up to the Imperial age. He might do that really shortly, but Chris going to be Imperial very shortly. There's the archer armor upgrade for him as he's advancing, and we'll see plenty of plumed archers coming out, I believe. They're already starting production now. Where's his second castle? It's on the right hand side, so really nice play by Chris, putting the castle here, and that's a nice spot. There's a little choke point, and it's going to stop the Viper from getting in with any archers or anything and harassing this area of the map. So really nice castle placement on the right hand side for Chris. Surprised really he didn't put his first castle there, but he's going to have a nice castle here, and that's going to be in a really good position. So all good stuff for the time being. Retreating away from these plumed archers. Uh-oh. Viper coming in from the side, spotting his lumber mining camp there. It's a good job he had this outpost, gave him a little bit of forewarning about what was going on, and now Chris can deal with that really shortly, but he's going to be up to the Imperial age in just a second, and we might see some really quick aggression from him. But yeah, there we go. Viper second castle up, and where's his third? Well, the third will be coming up very shortly. Let's see where he goes. He's moving these villagers out. He's going to put a third castle here, so really, really defensive on this area of the map, and that is quite impressive actually. I didn't think he'd put a third one there. I thought maybe he'd just put one on the right, just here perhaps, just to give him a bit of warning. It's on a hill, it's going to be, I don't know, a little bit more spaced out, because of course if Chris does come in with trebuchets now and take out these castles, then Viper's going to be screwed. He can't afford to lose castles at all, and there we go, Chris plumed archers coming in. I think though that Chris is going to be a little bit hard pressed to get some real aggression coming in really quickly. Brace has just been researched, ring archer armor on the way as well, so these plumed archers are going to be fully upgraded very shortly. No time or no resource for elite plumed archer just yet, but university chemistry is being researched, so he's going to have that very shortly, and his plumed archers are going to be quite formidable in just a short space of time. Viper going to have to run away. Going to lose this one. It looks like he's already got ballistics, so Chris is going to be almost fully upgraded in just a moment. Viper falling slowly behind, I think, here, and he's pushing out another castle on the left hand side. He's really concentrating on this left hand side, and it's kind of interesting really that he's deciding to concentrate on this area. I thought maybe he'd try and attack on the right, but obviously Chris now has a castle here, and everything's freezing. Oh no! Wow.